Hello, hello. I am Kim J from Kim J Sweet Healthy Life, and she is Tamika, the gorgeous she is Tamika, with me tonight, and we wanted to talk a little bit about Mental Awareness Month. May is Mental Awareness Month, and I wanted to check on my GLP-1 community. Um, we actually have a huge community, but I just want to make sure that everybody is doing well today, and just on your journey. So we're gonna wait a little bit just to kind of see who may come in um, to the chat. Hello, hello, Traces of Twine's Life. Thank you for joining tonight. I hope you're doing well. I want to talk about mental awareness while we're on a GLP-1 medication. And she is Tamika with me, and AKA Gorgeous. And so we want to talk a little bit tonight, just, informal, and just making sure that, we all are doing well,
Right.
especially with everything going on, in the GLP-1 community that's in the news, and just on our journeys. That's good. All is well. Wonderful. All right. So, Shiz Tamika, do you want to start off, just kind of introducing yourself and your channel and all that good stuff?
Okay. My name is Tamika. So I have a channel called She is Tamika and a second channel called Tamika's Beauty Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
I have been on a weight loss journey forever, but the GLP-1, I started off with Wegovy in February of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed on it for 4 months, got off, and I went 9 months without the medication, maintained my weight, and then I got on Zepbound in March of 2024. And I
Okay.
stayed on that for a few months and just recently surpassed, well, not recently, I've surpassed my weight loss goal. So I started off at 190, and the lowest weight I've ever been in my life is 133. And
Okay.
yeah, I've been able to maintain, and I guess we can get into that a little bit later. But yeah,
Okay.
and I'm currently off of the GLP-1 medication.
Okay. And you've been on Wegovy as well as Zepbound,
Yes.
correct? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. All right. So Traces of Twan's
Hey,
life.
John.
She's saying hi. She is Tamika. She's like, hello, gorgeous.
Hello, gorgeous.
Yes. All right. Miss Jerlene King.
Hi,
She says,
Jerlene.
hello. Hello, hello, Jerlene. Thank you for joining tonight. Uh, Tamika and we're going to be talking just a little bit about mental awareness month. May is Mental Awareness Month. And so I just want to check on the GLP-1 community as a whole. It's so much going on in the news, and some things are triggering, and there are things that just on our journey in general. Just want to make sure our mindset is in the right space, and while we're on this journey, and we're here as a community to just help each other out. And when one is down, we're here to gather and just make sure everybody's doing okay. Yes. So, Miss Jarlene, how are you? Twan has asked. And Nia, good
Hello, Nia.
good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. So, for me, I'm on a GLP-1 medication for type 2 diabetes. Mounjaro is the name of the medication. It's a GLP and a GLP agonist, and it's helped me lower my A1C. I found out in July of 2024 that I was type 2 diabetic, and my A1C was 15.1, and I was able to get my A1C back down in the normal range in 5 months, y'all. So, using this medication. And I know some controversy about the medication, but it's been working for me to lower my A1C, and it's also been working for me because I use it also as a tool to help me lose weight. So, and it's helped me lose, a little over 70 pounds so far. I started July 30th, 2025 with the medication, Mounjaro, and I'm now on 7.5 milligrams. Mounjaro is what I'm on. Tamika is on, well, she was on Zepbound, and she also, before Zepbound, she was on Wegovy. And Zepbound and Wegovy, they're medications that helps, with weight loss.
Yeah.
So Mounjaro and Ozempic, that a lot of people probably already know about. It helps with type 2 diabetes. It helps you lower and your type 2 diabetes as well as keep it in the normal range once it's lowered. And then of course Zepbound and Wegovy, it helps people lose weight. Okay, for people that are on the diabetic medication, you can also lose weight. If you're doing all the things that need to be done. And so, we're just trying to make sure today that everybody's okay. For those who are just coming in to the chat, just on the GLP-1 medication and just on your journey in general. Whether you're trying to just keep your A1C down or, lose weight as well. You want to say
Yeah.
anything else right now, Tamika? I'm going to look into the chat real quick.
Oh. Mm, no, not yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
All right. So I'm looking at the chat. And
Mhm.
hi, Hajareen. I thank you for joining us today.
Hi,
Hope
gorgeous.
you're doing well today. Just checking up on, our community just to make sure everybody's doing okay. Um, and we're just going to talk a little bit, just about mental health awareness since it's, this time a month. This time, this is the month that is deemed mental health awareness month. All right. So
Yes,
Jerlene
it's
says
took me out.
Jerlene says she's doing better. The weather was bad for arthritis. I understand that. I've had,
Mhm.
a few people in my family that has had arthritis as well. So I truly understand that. I'm happy you're doing better though.
Yes.
All right. So Nia, she says, hi, Twan. All right. Hajareen, hi, S Hero, my S Hero. I think she's talking to Twine with
Oh,
that. Yep, yep. All
super
right.
healing.
Yes. So, I will be looking down a little bit because I have, some notes on, just kind of to help us through this. Uh, so of course, on this weight loss medication, as well as, like I said, a medication that helps with type 2 diabetes. We're not only taking this medication, well, hopefully we're not only taking the medication just to lose weight, we want to make sure that we have the right mindset, come in with the right mindset, or just, mindset at some point changes to just heal in general. These medications have been proven to help um, do way more than just lower A1C and help lose weight. It's helping with people that may have other, diseases such as heart disease, sleep apnea. Um, what else? Tamika? You can think of sleep apnea, heart disease. It can help with inflammation.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say swelling. Yeah.
Yes. Um, it helps with so many different things, and they're still researching, you know, on just things that it could help with. But those are some of the things that it's helping with. If you want to research it, on your own
Hmm.
time, definitely research it. But it does have some side effects, of course. And one of the major side effects that I think we all kind of enjoy is that it helps for Mounjaro and Zepbound. It helps with appetite suppressant as well as food noise.
Right.
So therefore, um, when your appetite is suppressed, you may not want to eat as much. And that helps you, of course, it can help you lose weight. Not only that, with the food noise. So for those who may have issues, having, always thinking about food, even though they may want it, they eat, say, a meal and then later on, um, normal than, I mean, a little bit quicker than usual,
Right.
they'll start wanting to eat more, or they may be eating and then they're thinking about what they can eat, later on. So, it kind of slows down that food noise or sometimes eliminate it altogether. So that is, that's a good reason. That's good to help us, in this endeavor to actually, try to lose weight. And like I said, just other things that it's helping us with. So I'm happy about, Mounjaro. I think the um, negative side effects, just like any other medication, there's negative side effects too. I don't know no medication that doesn't have a side effect, at least one.
Right.
And so, I know a lot of people may have an issue with, oh, it can give you pancreatitis or it can give
Yes.
you thyroid, cancer or whatever.
Mhm.
Well, that's another reason why we want to make sure that we're speaking with our doctors and just, making sure that we know our bodies. Um, you know, just looking at your body. I know Twan from Traces of Twan's Life, she's always talking about looking in the mirror. So as you, are on your journey, you can actually, just kind of pay attention to what's going on,
Mhm.
and sometimes that gives you confidence when you see yourself, shrinking in size if you are, using this medication to lose weight. And yeah, so I think that's one good way that we can um, we can just see if something is going on. If for some reason you have a lot of GI issues, you want to talk to your doctor. That's why it's important to make sure you're talking to your doctor, that you may have a dietitian or a nutritionist, just your healthcare team in general, so that, if you find out there's something wrong, then, you can, get it checked out sooner than later.
Right.
So, and then they'll, they may take you off the medication, see what's going on, and then put you back on it if there's no issues, or, they'll determine what needs to be done. But that's why it's so important to make sure we're talking to our healthcare professionals so that we will be able to, make sure this journey is worth, worth its while.
Yes.
So, yes. So I'm looking back in the chat here.
Mhm.
All right. So Twan says, I'm so glad that my arthritis hasn't been acting up. Yes, yes, that's great. Twan. Thank you, Lord, for that. She also says, oh, that's for me too. That was for me. Also.
Sweet. Yeah. The S.
Yes. All right.
Hi, Bellflower.
Hi, Bellflower. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well today. Yes. Let's see what else. Okay. So that's it for now
Mm.
on the chat. So, how are we doing on our medications for those who are in the chat? Are you doing well on your journey? Do you have anything you want to share with us so we can maybe talk it through um, with you when it comes to, your mental? Is everybody that's in the chat right now, is your mindset, you know, to not only just be focused on the scale, but also just on the whole entire journey and your progress, enjoying your journey. I always talk about, just enjoying my sweet, healthy life. Um, I'm on this journey not only just to, lower my A1C and to lose the weight, you know, um, that I've held on for like 20 years or more, but I want to enjoy my journey. Okay. And so I want you all to as well. And also, like I said, some people I've heard, while looking at your channels, that you sometimes kind of suffer sometimes with not, being happy on the journey, because maybe you're not losing as much weight as you want to lose. So I haven't heard anybody talk about, the A1C not going down, good. When, for those who are on Mounjaro and Ozempic, that, they have been titrating down, which is great. But I've heard, some people stating that, on their weight is not coming off quick enough. So, for what they want it to be. And so I want to make sure, you all are okay, on your journey, and that you are enjoying your journey.
Agreed.
So let us know in the comment section, how are you doing? And if you are doing well, what are you doing? What are you using to make sure that your journey is going great, whether the scale is moving down or not? So Tamika, you want to, kind of talk about that?
Yes, this month has really tried me from the east to the west, to the north, to the south. For those who don't know, I did move from my old apartment to a new place, and of course, I was off the medication at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like the latter end of April, and I didn't move into my new place until, what was it, last Friday? No, May 9th was when I
Okay.
actually moved into my new place. And and by me being off the medication and not having that extra support, one might think, well, I'm sure your appetite came back because it's been like a little over 6 weeks at that time that I
Mm-hmm.
was off the medication. But no, my appetite didn't come back. The reason why is because, for one, I forced myself to eat a little bit more calories than what I was
Mm-hmm.
doing before,
Yes.
and I was trying to gain some weight. So to me, at that moment, it was perfect timing, because maybe, who knows, I may have, just overate and didn't want to gain any weight, and then that could have been really hard on my body and my mental.
Yes.
But overall, I will say that your girl had really kept her weight maintaining. I did lose a little bit because of stress, and then I would gain like a pound or two. I'm not too worried about the scale. It was more about, like how my body felt. And I will say, with the stress and everything going on, my
Mm-hmm.
body was being beaten up
Okay.
with IBS. Like, I couldn't hold my food down. I'm constantly going to the bathroom, and then I would be okay, and then I would be eating low in calories. So I had to literally take a step back and say, let me just take one day at a time. So right now I can't track my food at the moment, but let me just eat when I'm hungry. When I'm full, don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
And now that everything has calmed down, I am back on my, I would say I'm back on my game now,
Okay.
eating
Cool.
up
Cool.
and higher in calories. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I know, like, even you're off the medication now, but while you were on, say, Wegovy, or being on Zepbound, did you feel the stresses of you know not losing weight, and maybe felt just a certain way about it, and it made you feel down on yourself? So if you want to, share a little bit about that, if you did, um, and if not,
Mhm.
that's okay as well.
I
It's,
didn't have any issues not losing weight.
mm-hmm,
I think my biggest issue that I had while on Zepbound is that I lost more weight than what I expected. And
mm-hmm,
then my mindset just went into, well, let me gamble with my weight. Let me lose a little bit more. And let me try to lose another 10 more pounds when I was
mm-hmm,
already small. So
mm-hmm,
that would be like the main thing that really was like triggering for me. And then I couldn't really see myself as being so skinny,
mm-hmm.
where my family members, they would tell me, yes, you are skinny. And then my husband literally had to sit me down and show me an old picture, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Okay. And that was on Wegovy or Zepbound or
step
both?
down.
Or Zepbound. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And so that's why you decided to do what you're doing now, or?
Yes, that's why I decided to just go ahead and get off of Zepbound and just focus on getting more
Mm-hmm.
healthier and eating more so I can boost my metabolism and get the desired body type that I want and
Mm-hmm.
not be so fixated on the scale and trying to get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was that's I think that's, healthy. Especially
Yeah.
talking to your husband about it and just, because again, we always want to lose, yes, but and that's fine, but what other things are we doing to make sure that we're healthy? We want to
Right.
heal, not just lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you looking at the situation in its totality, and just trying to work through some things, just to make sure that you want to make sure that you're ultimately happy with the weight loss and things, and you don't want to just, okay, I just want to be this size, and that and
Right.
that's it. And I don't know what, if I can't get there, it's gonna drive me insane or what have
Right.
you. So I'm happy that you decide to sit, get your husband did sit you down and kind of just
Yeah.
talk it through and everything. And you found something that, and it seems like you're happy that you
I
made
am.
the choice. And I'm happy for you. Yes, yes.
You can see my face. It's a little
Yes.
thicker, right?
Yes. So yeah. So let's see what's being said in the chat. All right.
Yes,
So
please.
Traces of Twan's life, she says, at what point do you think someone should seek mental health assistance
Oh.
while on their weight loss journey? For that, I think it just depends on how much it's affecting them mentally. I think sometimes, we may be down on ourselves, here and
Mhm.
there about something or don't like something, but I don't think it just depends on how far, how much it's affecting us, our everyday life. I think that's,
Mhm.
that will determine whether they need to seek help, from a professional, or sometimes just going on YouTube. Like for me, if I hear, someone, when I look at, somebody else's channel or even in the chats, and I hear something, it may kind of make me feel like, okay, I was thinking kind of this way, feeling, some type of way about a particular thing. But, I got encouragement from, someone in the community, whether they're a creator or, just someone, a supporter. So for me, I have had my issues as well. I I haven't really talked a whole lot about it, but like for me with arm fat,
Mm.
that right there, oh boy, that bothers me. And I was, I've talked to a couple of you about it personally, and I'm like, I don't like it. I hate it. What do I do? You know, and so some people like, you're okay. It's gonna, it may come off. Just keep doing what you're doing. Strength train, thing. And they've encouraged me, and it's helped me a lot with that. But I noticed that, like when I was, especially like in February or March of this year, I
Mhm.
was feeling a certain way about it, and I'm like, I got to get these arms down. I got to get them down. And I was just like, that was just something for me that I was dealing with. And when I take pictures, like when my husband's birthday, we took pictures, and I'm like, I don't like this picture. You see these arms, it looks, terrible, blah blah blah, or whatever. And it was just a real thing for me. And while other people's like, you okay? Why, it's okay. You look good. But for me, my psyche was like, mm-mm, I don't like it. I'm not going to post it. I'm not going to put it in a video, whatever. So I try to find a way to, hold my arms a certain way to make sure, you can't see
Right.
it, and, whatever. But I had to pray to, and I'm a person of faith, um, and I had to pray to God about it. And I was like, Lord, let me be content with my journey. you
Mhm.
know I thank you for it. You brought me to it, and you're gonna see me through it. So let me be content and enjoy, this journey like I've set out to do. And so, after praying about it and everything, and, just being comforted by, some of the people that speak with, my loved ones, you know, I start, that trouble or that worry has kind of dissipated. So I'm happy to, say that, I don't feel as I don't feel quite as bad as I was feeling, during like February and March of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I'm happy about that. So I think, it just depends on how much it's, affecting your mental when it, whether you should actually speak with someone or not. But I think you should go ahead and talk to your doctor just in general, just to let, them know. So, just in case there is more conversation, more conversation that needs to be had. What do you think, Tamika?
I agree. And if you don't want to talk to a mental health person, like talk to like your family member, somebody that you can really confide in, that's going to give you the honest truth, but be gentle with your feelings as well. You don't want somebody doing this,
Mm-hmm.
help point out the good and what can we do to help resolve the issue that you may be having and just talk it out.
Right, right. And you want to make sure you're going to someone, that where it's a safe space,
Yes.
like you said, you want to be kind to, the person that that'll be kind and gentle. Yes, they're going to tell you, what you need to hear versus just telling you anything.
Right.
Um, but you want to make sure that they're kind and that it is a safe space for you to speak with, whether it's your doctor, whether it's your, spouse or significant other, your children,
Mhm.
whoever it is, someone, within this community. You want to make sure you have somebody to speak, these feelings out to, as well as, if you are a person of faith as well, of definitely speak to God about it.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
and he, will help you. All right. Okay, so next. Um,
Ooh,
hello, hello. It's a new day. How are you today? I hope you're doing well today.
hi, gorgeous. I love that red dress.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Looking good. Yes, yes. All right. So Hajreen says, Kim and Tamika, thank you for talking about mental health. I see my therapist every 2 weeks. We are making so much progress. That's awesome, Hajreen. Recently we is it changed my medication, and I think we got it right. That's awesome. That's awesome,
Good.
Hajreen. I applaud you for it. We should definitely, like we said, talk to a therapist if you can afford it. And you know they can help a lot. They help you kind of just kind of go through and try to find out where this all began. Sometimes it began in childhood, not feeling confident about yourself, um, or being
Yes.
down on yourself, especially for those who may have been overweight since they were a child, and people picking on them and things of that nature, maybe all their lives. And so therefore then they start feeling a certain way, about themselves, and their confidence starts going, the self-esteem starts, diminishing or what have you. So I think some people, from what it seems, is that, people, of course they bring that into their adulthood, and trying to still work out those feelings, and
Yes.
so therefore when they're losing the weight now on these medications, they're still feeling that, guilt, shame, the just bad feelings inside, doubt, doubting themselves, not loving themselves. And
Mhm.
we want everybody to heal from that. So that's what I was saying earlier. Yes, we're on a GLP-1 medication. It is helping us, with um, our diseases or ailments. Some people have different ones, like several different comorbidities, and we want to make sure we're healing inside out, not just losing the weight, and that's why a lot of people talk about, think about the non-scale victories as well, not just
Yeah.
scaled victories, because there are going to be days that you're not, weeks that you're not going to lose. There are going to be weeks that you're going to gain, and you have to be okay with that. We have to find ways to be okay and be content where we're at, and then just tweak things that we need to tweak so that maybe the next week, we'll be back on track. There are people that have plateaued, after so long of losing weight. That happens in a weight loss journey at some point. And so if it, and some people, maybe they reach their goal before, they get to having a plateau or a stall. But, a lot of times we have those issues, we have those times, and we want to be okay with that, you know. So that's what, like I said, we're talking about this today. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more later on as well, but I just want to, just make sure everybody's okay today.
And I
you know
think,
Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, and I also think that can also cause like a mental distress, with people being on the GLP-1 and
Hmm.
they've titrated all the way up to the very end and they hit a plateau.
Hmm.
Like, I can't even imagine even being at that stage and it's like, okay, I didn't finish losing the rest of my weight. Like, what's going on? And you're getting frustrated. And then
Right.
you're probably trying to wait on the next best thing. But it's like, maybe we shouldn't be moving up so fast,
Hmm.
with the medication, and really just only move up when we do have a plateau. That way you have enough milligrams to, go up
Hmm.
when you go up. That way, you're not at the end of the road and then waiting for the next best thing, is basically what I'm trying to say. So
Hmm.
do advocate for yourself with your doctor. If you can hold off without going up, then try that. But of course,
Yes.
talk to your doctor.
Right, right, right. Yeah, we can't
Mhm. Yeah.
say that enough. Make sure that you're speaking with your doctors about. I know a lot of people don't like talking to doctors. They're like, oh, they don't know nothing, or they just want money,
Hmm.
or just different reasons why they say that. They don't want to, speak with their doctor. And sometimes, they talk to the they'll talk to us as creators and asking us things that we're like, we don't know, we can't help you. We're only sharing our journey. Um,
Right.
but individually, we're not your doctors, and
Yeah.
we're not nutritionists or dietitians. And if we are, we're not yours, So it's very, very important, and can't be stressed enough that, talking to your healthcare professionals is very important. They
Yeah.
went to school for this stuff, and if you for some reason can't feel that you can't talk to them, then you may have to look into getting
Getting a new doctor.
person, to
Yeah.
for you, or whatever. So, but I know for me, when it comes to the titrating, I did not want to titrate up too fast. But I know there are a lot of people that, especially that started a little earlier, doctors were making was I don't know if it's the doctors that were making them. I don't know who was making them, but
Mhm.
they had to titrate up every month or
That
whatever.
was me.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And so, of course, like you said, once you get to, say, for Mounjaro and Zepbound, once you get to 15, then what do you do from there?
Yeah.
If you, especially if you have a whole lot more weight to lose. Um,
Hmm.
so that was my thing, So I was like, I don't want to just keep titrating, and then, if I need, something to kind of boost me
Hmm.
later on, I can't, I don't have nowhere else to go until they maybe make some, another medication that's better than, say, the Manjaro for me.
Yeah.
So, I just want to, and then also I have side effects to the medication. So, I was always hear that, if you have side effects, try not to titrate up too much too quick either, because you may want end up having more side effects if you go up, too quick.
Yeah.
Try to make sure, though the side effects that I have, that it kind of diminish first and then titrate up. But I think too, also when it comes to this, using a tool as a weight loss medication, it's so important to make sure that we're not just using it like a magic pill, or a magic, injection,
Mm-hmm.
medication. It is, a tool for us to use. It's, to help us lose the weight, to help us with our A1C and other, comorbidities. But, we have to do the work, ourselves, and not just keep trying to titrate up. For those who, may have titrated up because they're like, I'm not losing, let me titrate up. But, before you do, I feel as though, in my opinion, make sure you're doing what you need to do, yourself. And, so it's like, I have faith in the medication, but I also need to make sure I'm doing the work as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I myself make sure I tweak things. I'm, like I said, I'm on a 7.5 now. And I've been on a 7.5 milligram of Mounjaro since December, mid December. So for me, I decided not to go up. I still have, sugar lows, they call it, which means my sugar goes under, my blood glucose goes under 70 at times, not as much as it was initially when I got on the 7.5, but, it still does. So I don't want to go up to 10, because I'm like, if I go up to 10, just lose a little bit more weight, then how am I going to feel when it comes down to, or, what is my A1C going to do, or what is my, glucose going to do? Am I going to have more sugar lows, which is not good for me? It's just as important to make sure, my sugar is not high. I want to make sure it's not too low either. And
Yes.
going too low would be like anything under, your glucose being under 70. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I don't want to titrate up so much. So when I go back to my doctor, I know he's probably going to say, which he did say, like, I think in January, the last time I went, he was like, so you want to go on a 10? I'm like, I just went on a 7.5. Pump your brakes a little bit. Some time, to get this in my system first before,
Mm-hmm.
I decide whether I need to go up or not, So, that's my experience, with titrating up. But I understand, like I said, some people do titrate up because their doctors kind of almost made them do it. I've
Mm-hmm.
heard people say that they, don't want to, okay, I'm not going to give you any more medication unless you titrate up. And I'm not sure why besides, I know at one point, I think, um, it was kind of mandated to kind of titrate up for whatever reason. I wasn't on the medication then, so I'm not really sure. But, and some doctors are still using that same, plan. But, for as me, like I said, I'd rather not do that. But if you do, just like I said, just make sure you and your doctor are okay with it. I don't knock you for doing it. But like I said, just make sure your doctor, and you are fine with it. And, yeah, that's what I feel about that.
Yeah, you need to have a plan, and if you are just starting off of it, you got to get familiar with the medication,
Yeah.
like the ins and outs, so that way when you go to your doctor, you already say like, "Hey, this is what I want, and
Hmm.
does this align? Can you help me in this area?" As far
Hmm.
as not titrating up so fast and all of this.
Right, right, right. Let me see. I'm
Hmm.
trying to get back to my spot, Lord.
Yes,
Hold
honey.
on. Okay, there it is. All right. So, Bellflower. Yes, I have been enjoying my journey. I didn't lose fast, and I was okay with that. Slow and steady, along with all the comorbidities, eliminating and or lowering.
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Hmm.
I think slow and steady definitely wins the race. You think of the turtle, what is it? The tortoise and the
Hair.
hare. Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
slow and steady wins the race. So I agree with you, Bellflower, on that. And I'm happy that you're enjoying your journey. I'm happy
Yes.
that you are. Great stuff. Let's see what else.
It's
Uh,
a new day. Oh,
yeah.
hi. It's a new.
Uh-huh. Hi, the Mel B. How are you doing?
Hello, gorgeous.
Yes. All right. They're just speaking to one another. Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Let's see what else do we have. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. So Miss Jarlene says her A1C is down from 6.9 to 5.7. Awesome, 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 Miss Jarlene. Um,
Yeah,
sleep apnea is gone. Awesome.
good.
HB is gone. That's, I guess, is that,
High blood pressure.
that's what I
That's
was
what kind of
wondering.
like you
I don't
mentioned,
know if
right?
it's HBP, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, it might be. Let us know if you're saying high blood pressure, Miss Charlene. Lower cholesterol. Mounjaro 5 is still working for food noise, and I have lost a few dress sizes at the time at this point. That's awesome, Miss Charlene.
Yes.
That is awesome. Yes,
Wait,
yes.
you got to do a little check-in, Kim.
Hmm.
Hit the thumbs up. You got to tell people hit the thumbs up.
Oh yeah, please hit the thumbs up. You can,
Goodness.
you do it too. Look, if I forgot, look, you do it, baby. Look, please. Okay, yes, yes. Y'all, please hit the thumbs up.
My
Like
new
the
content
live.
creator.
You said what?
My new content creator.
Right, right. I'm still getting used to all this, y'all. Oh Lord. Okay, so woohoo, Jerlene King. Yes, yes.
Ooh,
All right, let's see.
yes.
Everybody's congratulating Miss Jerlene.
Yep.
Jerlene, you want me to call you Miss Jerlene or Jerlene? I know she probably like, why are you calling me Miss Jerlene? Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Hold up. Stop doing that.
You're doing great, Kim.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So Jerley says, I have bat wings and I can only use light weights because of my torn rotator cuff. I understand
Okay.
that. I do understand that. I don't have a I don't think I have a torn rotator cuff, but I have had issues like trying to use weights, and I may have kind of hurt my, like, I don't know what this area is called, but over here it was kind of hurting for a while. I don't know. I think I may have was using them like too heavy of weights, and so I had to kind of back off of it for a little bit until the muscles calmed down, and yeah, so I understand that. Yes. Are
Hmm.
you in physical therapy, um, Miss Jarlene, for that? Or have you gone to physical therapy at all, to try to help you with the torn rotator cuff? I had to go to physical therapy because at one point in life, I tore my patella on my left leg. And, at first, they had to sew me up because my leg, it cut my leg really bad. And so they sewed me up, and for some reason I could not kick outward, and so they had me go to physical therapy. They also had me. I actually had to have surgery. So even though I don't have a torn rotator cuff, I understand that because my knee sometimes acts up on me even now. And I was, I think, like 41 when I had the surgery. So yes, I do understand. Um, okay, let me see who else is talking. All right, so Mel B says, my pastor always says, you can have Jesus and a therapist.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that is so true. That is so true. I,
Even pastors need somebody to talk to.
yes, yes, that's true. And I know, like I said before, like I was saying before, people say, well, therapists are too expensive. I don't have the money to do that. Well, this is how I look at it. We've kind of spoken it already. Have someone to speak with. If you cannot, actually afford a therapist, make sure you have someone that provides you a safe space to speak with when you are having challenges. We'll all have challenges at some point. Trials and tribulations are going to come, and so therefore, we're built to, it feels overwhelming, of course,
Mm-hmm.
the things that we go through when we go through it. Of course, we would love to never have trials and tribulations. We don't want life to life, of course, but it's going to happen, and we just want to make sure that we have somebody in our corner to be able to speak with, so that we won't be alone. I know some people do. They kind of drift off to themselves when they are going through things. Some people like talking it, they talk, they tell everybody about it, but for those who like talking, I mean, just kind of drifting by themselves, withdrawing from people, um, you don't want to, try not to be alone in your suffering. Speak to somebody about it, even if you cannot afford a therapist. Um, but if you can, and you think at that place where you need a therapist, then by all means, please do so. It's okay to have a therapist. There's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm not broken, whatever, but we all are broken at times. And, we need to, make sure that we get help that we need as soon as possible. All right. Let's see what. Okay, it's a new day says MH can also be hereditary as well.
Mm.
It's so important for you to check in with mental health. It's so important for you to check in with yourself daily, because mental health can change very quickly, and that is so true. That is so true. Okay, Twan agreed.
Yeah.
It's a new day says thank you, ladies. Um, yes,
Welcome.
indeed.
Mhm.
What else? Okay, I really love this conversation, Kim and Tamika. Thank you, thank you. I
I
like
knew you'll love it.
you. Huh?
I said I knew you'll love it, Mel B.
Yes, 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 ma'am. Okay, so Hajarine said, I told my doctor today that I want to go back on 7.5. 10 milligrams is too strong right now.
Yes, ma'am. Sure
Yes.
is.
And I remember, Tamika, you were sharing a little bit about going up to 10 milligrams, and it being strong for you. Do you want to share a little bit about that tonight?
Yes, I was on 7.5 for 2 months in a row and decided, well, let me go up to a 10. And at that time, I think I was like around 143, 42 pounds. And by my second week, I really started noticing that I was not able to eat. I kept telling my husband that I feel delusional. I was getting headaches and just feeling very dizzy. And then one night, my body just couldn't handle it anymore. And when I mean by eating low in calories, I'm talking about like I went from eating 1,200 to like 900, 800. Like I would eat like a little toddler plate with barely any food on it. And one night I got up to go to the bathroom and didn't make it to the bathroom because I passed out backwards on the floor, just fell out. So I had to tell my doctor, and then he put me back down to 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, thank you for sharing that with us. Again, I thought it was, good.
Hmm.
Like when you shared it before, I think it might have been on Traces of Twine's Life channel, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Hmm.
And I thought it would, be good to share tonight as well for those who may not have heard that live. But yes, that's another reason why, like, just making sure you speak with your doctor about things. We are I just want to talk a little bit about just eating. I know some people do struggle with not eating a lot because of the appetite suppressant that this GLP-1 provides us. But we want to make sure we are eating, a healthy, balanced regimen. Yeah, I know
Hmm.
people don't like hearing diet, but it is a diet. That doesn't mean that you may not be considered. I'm not saying the weight loss diet, but I'm just saying, like, you want your regimen. You want to make sure you're eating enough calories, and you also want to make sure, that you're getting, you know, making healthy choices. Not like, again, not just to, make that scale to go down.
Right.
So for some reason, if you, are eating like a child like plate, and you're a whole adult, you may have to look, at, is the medication that I'm on too strong?
Yes.
Because you want to eat, uh we all talk about, you've probably heard the TDEE calculator that people use to find out how many calories they should be eating. to maintain, to cut, or lose weight, or to bulk up, which like strength, to build strength. um,
Mhm.
it is a good calculator that you can use, just to kind of give you some, um, just kind of give you a gauge on how many calories you should be eating at one time,
Mhm.
or per day. But you want to, again, you can talk to a dietitianist that can help you as well. But if you notice that you're not eating, or you can only eat 3 bites at a time,
Yes.
that medication may be too strong for you.
Yes.
So talk to your doctors about it and let them know, hey, I know I don't want to eat a lot, but I do want to make sure I'm eating. You know,
Yes.
I've stated in one of my videos, one of the last videos. We're supposed to eat for fuel. We need energy to
Mhm.
go throughout the day, especially if you're trying to strength train. You need your carbs, you need
Right.
your fats, you need your protein. Heavy on the protein, guys and ladies, and you also need your fiber. So, and you need your calories.
Yes.
So, you don't want to be too low in calories, and then it sabotages what you're trying to do, lose the weight. Because it can sabotage your weight loss and make you stall if you're not eating enough calories. So, as well as, if you're eating too many calories. So,
Or if
that's
you're
why a lot of people
burning.
I'm sorry, you said what?
Oh, and I was saying that, and if you're burning off those calories, so like for me, by me eating 900 and then I'm exercising,
Hmm.
I'm burning even more calories. So I'm putting myself in a further deficit than what I need. And that's something that people need to also think
Right,
about if you're working out.
right,
Mhm.
right. That's true. That's true. So, yes, be mindful of that. And I know, like I said, sometimes it is hard. You're trying to put the calories in, but for some reason, I'm like, I'm too full. I can't eat another bite, or I feel, I may,
Mhm.
throw up or whatever. So then, like I said, that may be time you may say, okay, I need to check this medication out. Maybe I'm on a too strong of a dose, and that's why, like I stated before, it's very important that we making sure that we are doing the things that we're supposed to do, not just say, oh, okay, I'm just going to eat whatever I want to eat and just let the medication do its thing. You know, if we do our part and let the medication, be a tool for us to help us through this, then that's best. And also, we want to make sure that, again, healing. Um, because say if for some reason we can't be on the medication anymore, and for some reason we can't be on the medication anymore,
Right.
for whatever reason, and so what are we going to do then? Have we built enough healthy habits that if for some reason we have to get off the medication, that we can continue on our sweet journey, of losing weight or maintaining, the weight that we have lost?
Mhm.
That's something to think about. All right, let's see. All right. So Tracy Twilight said, but some people say going to the higher dosage doesn't mean you will lose more weight, and that is so true. I've heard people say that they did not lose weight when they went up in dosage. They were hoping to, but they did not. So that is true, Twan. All right. So, Hajarine, I have heard doctors on YouTube say this. Correct, Dr. Dan and Dr. Is it Sterrett? Yes, that's so true. All right. Bellflower. I agree, traces of Twan's life. I didn't notice a change in dosages. I'm sorry, a change in doses. I actually had more weight loss on 5 milligrams and moved up after 2 months because of the doctor, but hard stop at 7.5. I know that's right. Bellflower,
Yeah.
like, wait a minute now.
Pump the brakes.
Right, exactly.
Like you said,
Exactly.
pump the brakes.
Right, right. And I too, am earlier in my journey. I feel like I was only on 2.5 for 1 month because of that shortage time. Because I started in July 30th to 2024, on 2.5, and I was, we were in the middle of that shortage.
Mm.
And so my pharmacy did not have the 2.5 when it was time to go get my next dose of, well, box. And so I told them to go ahead and push me up to the 5. That was okay. And I spoke to my doctor before then, and he,
Mm.
they said fine. And so I did that. um and I did very, very well the first month, when I was on the 2.5, as well as when I was on the 5 milligram. But when I moved to the 7.5, not so much. It did wonders with my A1C, but not with the weight loss. Kind of started slowing down. It didn't halt, but it did slow down. So I can, I'm a testament to that as well.
And maybe we shouldn't look at it as, oh, I need to go up or I'm going up so I can lose more weight.
Hmm.
Because when you think about it, it's all science. It's all about numbers, like calories in versus calories out. Like, what are you doing to burn some of those calories? If you want to lose weight, you need to burn more than what you're eating. So,
Correct. Correct. Yes.
like you said earlier, this is not like some magic pill and
Right.
you just sit there, you know, not saying
Hmm.
that y'all are doing it, but just speaking in general.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And also, just to kind of say a little bit more about that, Tamika. um I know some people may not be exercising, and just like say Miss Jolene, she was saying she had a torn rotator cuff. All right, but she has not let that stop her from exercising. She's
Correct.
finding other ways to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's part of this journey. It's not just to use this pill as if it's going to do all the work. you know
Mm-hmm.
it's going to help you tremendously get where you want to be at, if you do eat better, also exercise,
Mm-hmm.
hydrate properly, getting at least the minimum of the 64 ounces. um Tracking helps as well. All of these things can be beneficial. The fiber, getting in fiber, all these things are beneficial to help with your journey. um and like I said, just having your mindset, to say, hey, I want to be healthy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
not just lose weight. I want to be healthy. And for some reason, we, got to the point where we were, whatever our biggest weight was, or, but I want to not only lose it so that I can be, so I can go down on the scale, but I also want to be healthy. Most importantly, I want to live long as well as be prosperous in living, not just live. So all these things are going to help with that. And then also I think helps with your mental, thinking of it like that. Let's heal from, obesity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that hopefully we won't go back, yo-yo back and forth. And we
Yeah.
also want to make sure we're not using this as a just like another diet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like we've done in the past, so many of us, and then now we're yo-yoing back and forth, so that's why these changes, um, that we need to make these changes that I've just mentioned, so that we will be able to sustain what we, have worked so hard for.
Yeah.
Or like
I
I
was.
said, if for some reason the medication is no longer available
Mm-hmm.
for us, especially how everything is going now in the that they've been talking about in the news. We want to make sure that we can sustain it if for some reason this medication is pulled away from us.
I think another non-scale victory would be is comparing how you react to stress
Hmm.
and food compared to now versus before being on the medication. And I know
Hmm.
with me, like, I'm a big sweet eater and
Hmm.
I love bread, and I would constantly eat. And I
Hmm.
think I was telling you before that my carbs was so high. I noticed that my carbs got high recently
Mm-hmm.
and then I wanted to eat more of it. Like it's like my body, no, I didn't want to eat more. My stomach was full from the carbs.
Okay.
However, but I guess because my insulin or my sugar, I guess it was spiked, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like when it's really high, you just want to keep craving, and it the insulin wants to stay like this level, and as soon as it start to drop, then the craving go up, and then you got to keep it elevated. So that was just one of the things that I noticed with me, that now that I'm not off of it, like I had to constantly remind myself, okay, don't eat too much of this, or look at how many carbs did you eat today, or what was going on. So I was able to kind of like shift my mindset and not revert back to my old ways.
Yes. Okay, great, great, great. So that lets you know that your mind, you're healing from it, not
Yeah.
just, not just, oh, I was just on something to lose some weight.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. That was healthy thinking.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So Bellflower says, I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry, Hajarine
Right.
says at Bellflower, when I was on Mounjaro 2022 and 2023, I noticed that I lost more weight on 2.5 and 5 as well. Yes, yes. All right.
Check.
Hmm.
She was saying like a check.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mel B says, Twine, yes, many people lose most of their weight on 7.5 and 10, then
Mm-hmm.
12.5 and 15, for example. Correct. I've heard that as well.
A
Um,
lot of my weight loss came from 7.5.
hmm. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, most of mine probably came from 5, but I was on 5, a little bit more than I was on the 2.5. I kind of wish was able to stay on 2.5 a little longer, but like I said, at that point, I didn't realize that I could go to another pharmacy.
You didn't know that?
Didn't know that.
What? I
Mm-mm.
was calling all around
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what?
they didn't tell me that.
What?
Yeah, um, yeah, and I didn't know I could because I'm with CVS, Caremark
Mm-hmm.
and CVS Pharmacy, and
Mm-hmm.
the way our plan is set up is they want us to go to CVS for
Mm-hmm.
our medications, and if you want to be covered. But with this medication, I didn't realize that I can go other places,
Yeah.
especially due to the shortage. I mean, I was on it for the month, so I didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't talked to anybody about it because I didn't know anybody at the time that was
Okay.
on the medication to ask that question. So yeah, but I found out later on after I talked to one of the insurance representatives, and they told me if there was ever a shortage, I can move. I can go somewhere else. Really anywhere to get the medication. So, but I had already moved to the 5 by then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see what's next. All right. Yes. High blood pressure. Okay. Good. Yes. Yes. All right.
More just correcting myself.
Okay. Okay. Is that Jerry? Is that how you say that? What does that go? All right. She talking to me because I be like, Miss Shirley.
Yo.
Yes, I'm in PT. Okay, 2 times a week. Yes, so they'll help you with that rotator cuff. That's good. All right. Let's see what else we're talking. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Okay, so downsizing diva. Hi, Didi. How are
Hello,
you doing
Jose.
today? Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so Hajarine says, I read an article today about cravings. Cravings for salty food signals cortisol imbalances, adrenal fatigue, or mineral deficiencies. And I've heard
Really?
also Hajarine before. Yes, and same thing, when it comes to sugars, when you start craving sugars, it's a reason for that. So I'm looking into, and that's another thing about, like we were saying about healing
Mm-hmm.
earlier, wanting to be healed from some of these things that we're going through so that we you know won't have the problem anymore, so we won't have to keep going back and forth, getting smaller, getting bigger, back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
yo-yoing. So yes, it's and it's very good to, I think, research, do your own research about, the things that you're going through. Of course, I know a lot of people say, Dr. Google, you can't believe it or whatever. But if you're looking at reputable sources, and articles on Google, you can learn a whole lot. That's what happened with me once I started this journey. I'm a researcher at heart. And so I will pull up Google in a heartbeat. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess, then we have now Chat GPT that people are, using. But I would look at, but I did go to college as well. And, we did so much research, in college that, I learned how to look for reputable sources so that I can, learn about what's going on with my body. Also, YouTube, very important. Looking at, the doctors and the scientists that have been, so good on this platform, helping us, learn more about our bodies, and, different conditions and things of that nature, diseases, so that we can, know what's going on with our bodies.
Agreed.
Knowledge is power, of course.
Yeah.
So try to learn as much as you can so that you can, be able to find out the root cause of what's going on in your body so that you will become healthier.
Agreed.
All right. My doctor gave me the 2.5 in samples and only wanted me to take it for 2 weeks. I asked her for a month. Then she prescribed the 5 milligrams. That was bellflower. Hmm. All
Wow.
right. Wonder why she didn't let you do it for a month.
Right.
Did she explain why she didn't want you to do it for the month, bellflower? Or was it during the time that they were titrating people up monthly? All right. Hajarine says cravings for sweets can stem from blood sugar imbalances. Correct. High cortisol levels and even low, what is called serotonin.
Oh
Hmm.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that was me.
Yes. 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 And then what happens is, when it comes to sugar, in your
Mm-hmm.
body, when you put so much in it, then after a while, it doesn't know where it's supposed to go. It has too
Right.
much. And so, things start shutting down and
Mm-hmm.
sugar start distributing in think places it should not have ever gone.
Right.
So then, you become insulin resistant, you become at some point sometimes diabetic. And so that's why we want to make sure that we, are learning how to eat in a more healthier way, um, not just weight loss.
And listen to your body because your
And listen
body
to
will
your
tell
body.
you.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Hajarine, for that information.
Jerry is her nickname.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Miss. Okay, Jerry. It's gonna be hard to say. Okay, say Miss Charlene. All right. So, Downside Diva saying hi to Nicole. Hajarine says cravings for crunchy foods can be associated with repressed anger, iron deficiency, or insufficient fiber in your diet. And we've kind of talked a little bit about making sure that we get enough fiber in our diet. I'm going to make a video about the fiber in my diet.
I got
Yeah.
40 grams today.
Okay, what? Yay! Awesome, awesome. So, some people need more than the recommended dosage of 25.
Mhm.
I can't say everybody because I'm not sure what, like I said, you get with your dietitian and your doctor about that. But they do say it's recommended that women get at least 25 grams of fiber per day. Sometimes not getting enough fiber is why we may be having constipation on this GLP-1 medication. Um, and it can help if we're getting enough fiber, enough water, you know, and that we're balanced with, our macros. So yes, yes, you want to make sure that you're getting enough fiber. I'm going to do a video on that. I spoke with my dietitian last week about it, and I'll let you all know what she says.
Okay.
Yep. All right. All right, saying hello to Downsizing Diva. All right. So Downsizing Diva says she's having cravings. Her cravings has kind of amped up a little bit, but she is fighting through it. Awesome, Didi. And I remember on your live, you were saying that you're on the 10 milligrams and you plan on staying on it for a little longer, and you're trying to, do some tweaking, some more tweaking, and making sure that you don't want to go up, too fast as either. So you trying to do everything that you can yourself. You're doing the work, and it's paying off for you. Awesome, awesome. All right. Okay, so upping your protein, that is good, as well. Some people do need to up their protein. That's true, especially if you're working out.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
building blocks, the building
Yes.
the muscle.
Yes. We need protein, y'all. So making sure, especially on these GLP-1s, that we are getting enough protein. Um,
Oh,
okay, so Hajarine, I crave crunchy, so I purchased a crush ice machine and cracked my tooth. Oh boy.
mm.
Sorry to hear that, Jerry. Is that right, Jerry? Is that right?
Yeah. There
No.
we go.
Say it then. What is it again?
Jerry.
Oh, I said Jerry. Okay, I was thinking, I'm like, did I say it wrong? All right.
No.
So, uh, Jerry says, Hajarine. Oh, I just read that. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. All right. Downstairs, the Diva says, yes, Mel B, I'm working on it. I'm full now from eating protein and drinking lots of water. I'm happy you're getting your water in as well, Didi.
Yes.
So
Break
important
down
to get
that
the water.
protein.
Yes, it helps with digestion. Water helps with digestion as well as constipation if we're having constipation.
Too much
Um,
protein will hurt you too.
yes, yes. So yes, too much of anything can hurt. Too little of anything
Mhm.
can hurt, y'all. So make sure you're, finding that perfect balance.
Yeah.
That's what. All right. Oh man, Hydrine says she chipped hers on peppermint. Wow,
Hmm.
wow, wow, wow. Sorry to hear that. All right, so the Mel B says, "Oh, interesting, Hajarine. You're going to give me yet another research project." Yes, my girl Mel, she be research. She is a researcher as well.
Yes, I am a recovering addict from Cheetos. I used to be a big old Cheeto girl eater
Uh huh.
before GLP-1, and I have not eaten Cheetos.
Yes. Okay. Awesome.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I haven't been craving the junk food, so I mean, I do
Yeah.
do things. I never was a big sweet eater
Hmm.
until 2024. I started wanting more sweets. But it was from stress.
Yeah.
Yes. From my job that I had started working a few months prior in 2023. And yeah, I just started craving sweets left and right. And yeah, that was a hot mess. Um, and just know that too, stress, you know, it sometimes stop you from losing weight as well.
Yes.
So you want to try to make sure, you some people, they to get rid of reduce stress, um, the mental stress is, or they just, they may meditate. Prayer is a good way to kind of reduce some stress. Walking, especially outside, you know helps you reduce stress. It's so many different, things that you can do to help. And you can meditate. Some people don't know how to meditate, but you want to get in a quiet space whenever you do it, just to kind of turn that, everything off, and so that you can, especially you can also just turn everything off so that you can, get in a good space. Um, as well as sometimes, like, I listen to music, and a lot of times me listening to gospel music, it kind of helps me,
Mhm.
de-stress as well. But walking outside, that's it for me. All right. Let's see what else is there. Kim J, you know I feel strongly that we need 45 grams of fiber. Yes, yes. Mel B, she feels like 45 grams. Her doctor has spoke with her about,
Mm-hmm.
how much fiber. It's good for people that are on GLP-1s, and they've spoken about, 45 grams of fiber per day. And it has helped her tremendously, getting um, that much fiber in a day, in a day's, time. All right, Miss Jerlene says, I heard the craving for crushed. I had a craving for crushed, I guess. Could oh no, I heard a craving for crushed. Could be hmm, I suffered from iron deficiency. Yes, iron deficiency, I've heard that as well. I know some people that love crushed ice, eating ice, and that is a sign of iron deficiency.
Mm.
Or sometimes when you're pregnant, I know people that eat ice a lot that, has eaten ice as well. But that is a big sign, a huge sign of being iron deficient.
Yeah.
Another reason why you want to go to your doctor and let them, run tests at least once a year. At least once a year.
Yeah.
Um, I've heard that too. Yes, yes. All right. It's okay to say, oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. All right. I take a nice warm bath or get into a whirlpool for stress. That is awesome as well, Miss Shirley.
Yes.
Jolene, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is good. That also, whatever you have to do to, de-stress, because there's so many stresses. Because again, life be life, and y'all, and we want to make sure that we're not stressing, because we don't want to have anything derail the things that we're trying to do, and we're working so hard to make sure, we're getting healthier, that we're you know being healed from co-morbidities. And so yeah, we want to make sure stress does not, you know derail what we have put, that we've done so much, the things that we've done so much to help us get better. You have anything else, Miss Tamika?
I want to show you guys a picture because I said that I told Kim that since I haven't done an update for the month of May of where I'm at with my weight gain journey. Yes, I'm on a weight gain journey for those who don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I blurred out, okay, this picture, but this is why it's like so important to like take pictures of yourself because yeah, you just don't know. I put a little heart there, but wait, wait a minute, right there. Okay, I just want you to see how skinny like I was. This was my lowest at 133. Like I was not very happy with this. Like I told you guys, like with clothes on, yeah, you look good, but when the clothes come off, it's like you see yourself in a different light. And I didn't realize how small I was until I took a picture of myself like this and
Mm-hmm.
just really stared at myself and then did comparison. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's like now my body, well, I have on a bra on that shit, but now it's like my body is like getting a little thicker now,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I just feel good about myself. So from being at 133 right there to now at 148 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
like I noticed that I'm more filled out more. My thighs doesn't have like that extra saggy skin. It's a little bit more toned. So that was the reason for showing the pictures.
Okay.
And you know, I just feel more filled out more versus just very soft. I'm starting to firm up a little bit more. So it is a work in progress, and I know that this is not going to happen overnight, being that I was on the medications for quite a few months. So it's just all about taking my time and making sure I am eating enough to fuel my body and just be the healthier version of myself and just listen to those cues, like if my body's saying it's too much of this or not enough of that, try to feed it and start tracking so
Mm-hmm.
that way I can keep up with my protein and keep up with my carbs. Because I notice, which I've been knew, is that when I eat too much carbs, I start to bloat even more. I start to swell up. So those are things that I have to be mindful of, and I can't just eat, all willy nilly like the way I want to. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to take in those best practices.
Yes. And I noticed that for me, when I started my journey last July, I again prayed about it and I just asked God to just help me change my mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and find ways to, um, you know, walk this journey in a better way than what I, done in the past.
Right.
I want this to be the last time I get on the roller coaster of back and forth with,
Right.
a lot of weight, being overweight or obese. Um, or in my instance, they consider me as morbidly obese. So, I don't want to keep, doing that to my body, so I decided, to ask at the time, talked to, God about it. And, I just, like I said, started researching things. I found people, you all, on YouTube, and thought I should, build a community so that I'll have some help. I did have support from my family from day one. Um, they're very, very supportive of me. But they're not going through some of the same things that I'm going through.
Yeah.
So I was the biggest, person in my, with my sisters,
Mm-hmm.
as well, really my mom, dad, me. I was the, most heavy. I was the heaviest person in our immediate family, and even, in my family now, I had been
Mm-hmm.
obese for at least 20 years. And so I don't want to, I want to, get down to a certain goal at some point. I'm not rushing it, but
Right.
once I get there, I want to be able to kind of stay, in a certain range, So that's why, again, just saying that we want to make sure that we are doing what we need to do, everything that we can do, doing the work, you know, um, so that we, with nutrition as well as exercises, um, so that we will be able to keep the weight off this time.
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, you want to make sure that you're doing whatever you're doing and that you're happy with what you're doing, you know.
Yes.
So I also want to kind of just go over a little bit. I have some notes here. So you'll see me a little, kind of looking over to the side, but mindset does matter. Again, you want to make sure the stress and the shame doesn't sabotage your progress. Um, you also, mental exhaustion can lead to diabetes burnouts or just burnout in general, even if you don't have diabetes. It also can, start you to binge eat sometimes or just give up. And we don't want to give up on this,
Mm-hmm.
journey like we've done in the past. We want this to stick. Um, and five key mindset shifts. We want to think about going from I'm broken to rebuilding.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to rebuild to make sure that we, this is sustainable for us this time. We also have to remember that this is not a quick fix. You
Mm-mm.
know, a lot of us, because everything goes so fast, we want microwave results, and we can't think like that anymore. So we have to shift our mind to think long term, being in the long game. Okay. Just like, say football, you have to go all the quarters, or what have you. And, you want to make sure that you're doing it the best way you know how. So that's where the research comes in at. And then making sure that you're doing all the things that's going to help you, you know, be successful in your journey. These are not magic pills. Okay. They're momentum. They're a tool to help you build healthier habits. Okay. Also, you want to change your mindset from I'll be happy when I lose the weight.
Mm.
How about let's be happy now? We can be happy now, you know, while we're in the midst of it, while we're in, while, we're um, on the way to, whatever our weight loss goal is. Enjoy the moments. We want to celebrate our non-scale victories, right? Not just our victories, our scale victories. We want to celebrate the non-scale victories, even if they're small. You want to make sure you're celebrating that. If it's, you say, oh, I can, for those who are on Mounjaro and Ozempic, oh, I got my A1C down. That a girl, awesome, awesome. You want to make sure that you're celebrating. You want to make sure that you're in a space where you can have mental clarity. Okay. And when you start thinking for some reason, down on yourself about something, maybe that you didn't lose the weight like you wanted to a particular week, you want to cast those negative thoughts down as soon as you can, because if not, if you sit in it too long, then that's where the depression starts coming in at, and you start not you start doubting yourself and doubting your journey. So cast those, those imaginations down. You also want to go from the all or nothing mentality to progression. I'm progressing. I'm not looking for perfection, but I'm looking for progression, right?
Yeah.
And think about it. Even if you lost, say, 15 pounds, and it took you 3 months to lose the 15 pounds, if you were on the diets that you were on before, did it take, I mean, how long did it take you to lose the 15, during those times? And if you did lose it fast, did
Yeah.
you gain it right back? And did you gain more? So with this, if we're doing this journey to where we, slow and steady wins the weight race, thinking of it that way, enjoying the journey that we are on, um, thinking of things that's going to, like the non-scale victories, counting our blessings. I know you all have heard of that before. That will keep you in a mindset to say, you know what, I can keep going. Um, I'm doing very, very well on this journey. And like I said before, mentioned, what Twan was saying, look in the mirror at yourself and just, or look at pictures, old pictures versus, like, Tamika was just showing old pictures versus a new pitch, a newer picture. And I know I've done that. And I'm like, wow, I see myself, I see the work, the hard work that I put in, and it just makes me smile. I look at myself in the mirror and I thank God for, just being able to see, myself looking better, naked. So I'm happy about that. So just like I said, just changing your mindset. Yes, I love perfection, but I have to be realistic. I do want to work in excellence, though. Not perfection, but excellence. So the way I can do that is to make sure that I'm doing all the things I need to do. Every step counts. Do not, feel guilt, because guilt can have you spiral.
Yeah.
So even if you do slip up, it's okay. Tweak so that you can, get back on track
Baby
as
say,
soon
who
as
gonna check
possible.
me, boo?
Huh?
Like, I just Sherelle from Housewives of Atlanta. She said, "Who gonna check me, boo?"
Yeah, yeah.
So who gonna check
Exactly.
me?
Exactly. Right, right, right. Right. But give yourself grace.
Hmm.
Give yourself grace. Now that I'm saying that, It's not all or nothing. Give yourself some grace and just jump back on, you know, full speed ahead, and do what you need to do. We've heard so much on how we can do things to better, to help our journey along the way. So just be mindful of those things. And when you're, for some reason, you fall off the wagon, just jump back on and, you'll be okay. Another thing, don't be shameful about it. You want to shine on your journey. This is your journey. And just if you think back, you know, where you were to where you are now, even though you may not be where you want to be, you still made progress. You still made progress. And so celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself. Yep. So those are the things I want to share with you all today. Um, and yeah, I hope that helped you, or at some point helps you if you're not going through anything right now, that it does it, it's put in the back of your mind so that you'll remember it if you do for some reason start feeling a certain way about your journey in a negative way. All right, let's see. Okay, so thank you, ladies, for discussing a difficult subject on mental health awareness. There used to be so shame associated with it. Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's cool and okay to discuss. Correct. That is so true. That is so true. All right. Let's see. Everybody's agreeing with Jerlene. You're welcome. Everyone, you're welcome. You're welcome. Jerlene, yes, it could be. Blood labs can reveal that if you are iron deficient. Oh, that you are iron deficient. I had that too. Had to get iron infusion and take daily supplements. I also had. I'm sorry, y'all. Who? Okay, that's my daughter, y'all.
I
Okay,
hope you got that.
huh?
I hope you got that out. Okay, because you gotta.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's done. That's done.
Okay.
All right. Okay. What else is there? Did I read that? Yes. Okay. All right. So, Geraldine is going to talk to her primary on the 29th, and then all right, so she's also celebrating a non-scale victory. Let's celebrate with her. Give her some kudos. Give her some love. Click on those, those little emojis. Or what is it called? What's those things? The love and the
Yeah, the little.
yeah, those things. I don't know what they're called. Yeah. Um, she will be celebrating 71 years young on May 25th. All right.
Yay.
Look, happy early birthday.
Yeah, 5 days early. Yeah,
Yes, yes. All right. Yes, that is a blessing. That is a
yeah.
blessing. Thank you, Lord. So yes, so
Mm-hmm.
I have had a great time tonight with you all. Thank you all for joining me. This is my the first live on my channel, second live with
Yes.
Miss Tamika, Miss Gorgeous. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Y'all, I be scared, honey. So she told me one day, I told her, I said, listen, she was, they were saying, oh, you should go live, you should go live, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And so so one day I told her, I said, well, if you gonna go live with me, and she was like, yeah, when you want to do it. And I wasn't expecting an answer, but I do thank you. I appreciate you, sister, for
You're welcome.
um you know going live with me, trying to get all my little feelings out. I don't know why, I'm still getting used to the camera, y'all.
Mhm.
But I wanted to do it anyway, do it afraid. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing. I know some people say
Yeah, her
you don't seem scared, but yeah, I am.
her voice sounds so different on the phone versus here. See, right now she's trying to talk all proper, but she really flows. And you see, she's trying to be all serious, girl.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me
She
tell
came
you.
prepared, y'all, with her notes and everything. I was like, now look at her. I said, let's free ball. And she came with notes.
Yes, I have to have some notes, girl. I got to have some
But
notes.
it was
But
good though.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
good.
right.
Yeah.
And so Bellflower says, "This was fun. Thank you, Bellflower. I love you two together. I do. I
Thank you,
enjoy
Miss
us
Bellflower.
together."
Yes.
Excellent live. Thank you, Hajarine. And y'all go check out Hajarine. She's been throwing some gems out there to us. It's some other content creators in the chat. If you're still in the chat, go ahead on. Look, I'm gonna do like Twine. Go ahead on and put a blue heart. That's one of my favorite colors, blue. Put a blue heart in the chat, so people will know that you are a content creator.
Male.
Mel B, thank you and good night, Kim and Tamika. Good night, beautiful ladies. And Darium is in the bushes. Yeah, well, I miss Darium tonight. Um, Bless everyone on the journey and thanks a lot. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Good night, ladies. All right, thank you, you all. You have anything else last minute things to say,
It
Tamika?
it was fun and I enjoyed, and we're going to continue to do more.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think yeah, yeah. Well, back by popular demand.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. I greatly appreciate it.
Mhm.
I hope you all, I wish you all well. Godspeed. If you all, like I said, have anything that you may want to share, even after this live tonight, go ahead and share it. And we will be, you know, speaking with you all, engaging with you all in the comment section. I greatly appreciate the comments that come over. I love to engage with our community. This is how we learn each other, and we are here to help each other.
Yes.
Uh, yes, we're here to help each other. So, um, yeah, and give, good feedback to one another.
Kim J,
Yes.
we got to do a cute thumbnail. Make sure
Okay.
you snap it, okay?
Yeah. I don't look, girl, how to do that? Let me see. How do I do that, sweetheart?
No.
Oh,
You're just gonna freeze, and
okay.
then when you, I guess, do the playback, just screenshot it. I just chopped my hair off before coming on live.
Oh, let me sit up.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, where am I looking?
Wait, I don't know.
I gotta look right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay.
Good
All right. Well, good night, ladies and
night.
gentlemen. Thank you for coming in
Yes.
and sharing with us tonight. All right. Love you all.
Goodbye, gorgeous.
Goodbye. Goodbye.